And if you fight really loudly and scream at each other, say the meanest things, but then afterwards you get back together, that must mean that it's true love. 妈的孔夫子都是他害的。I'm Lauren, and I am a first-generation Taiwanese immigrant. I right now live in Los Angeles, and I like trees. I grew up in Taipei, Taiwan. I finished my high school in Taiwan. 我记得有一年台风天，然后就外面就下暴雨这样子。我妈妈那时候应该不在，因为我记得我坐在后阳台的洗衣机上面抽烟，让我觉得这真的太赞了。就是第一个，我喜欢雨天，我喜欢下雨打在塑胶或者是铁皮上面的那个声音。然后第二个就是晚上，所以就觉得很清静，就没有别人在旁边。然后第三个可能是因为我妈妈不在，所以我就觉得偷偷在家里抽烟，没有人会发现，就有一种做坏事不会被逮到，很安心的感觉，放松、舒畅、宁静的感觉。I got into a fight with my ex-boyfriend, and he called our neighbor, who is also a sheriff. The sheriff called cops to our place, but I ended up getting arrested. I was arrested and I was taken to the station and I was handcuffed.
What happened?
I plead my fifth. No comment on this. It was an out-of-body experience, totally surreal, and I thought that I was the biggest disappointment to my family. But yeah, my friend at the time came to save me with bail money. So she bailed me out. And the craziest part is I got back together with my ex-boyfriend after the incident. I think that was batshit crazy that I did that.
Why do you think you still got back to him afterwards?
I think it was an external validation. Like, I got arrested and you still want to continue this relationship? It must be true love. I was seeking external validation from the wrong people, but it was what I thought that I deserved. Like, I only deserved this kind of love. It was chaotic and shitty, and I don't think I thought I deserved better than that. And I think it was because that's what I was used to. I grew up on it. So for me, there was no, like, a good model for what love can be, and I grew up on the chaotics. So I thought, oh, this is natural. This is what I'm used to. So I think I naturally gravitated towards that. Like, looking at my own parents or looking at other couples within my family, like my aunts, my uncles, my grandparents, like, they weren't nice to each other. And there was a lot of like screaming at each other and fighting and not being able to regulate their own emotions when a stressful situation comes up. So that's how I think I learned that kind of way of interacting with the person that I'm in a relationship with. And I thought that was the norm. And if you fight really loudly and scream at each other, say the meanest things, but then afterwards you get back together, that must mean that it's true love because you overcome all of that and you still decide to stay together. Like, to me, I thought that was the love that I was looking for, but we were just very unhealthy people in terms of emotional management.
What made you get out of that cycle? Like, what made you decide that this is enough?
I think that I was at the time growing into a different person. Like, I was transitioning to the next stage. Like, looking back now, I can see that it's a transitioning phase in my life. My comfort zone got bigger. Like, I was branching out in terms of my social life, my professional life. I think there was more self-respect. To give it more context, I got into grad school and I moved out from the place where we were living together, and I met new friends and I was doing my own thing, and I realized that this feels good too, and there are other things that make me feel happy or accomplished. It was a road trip, a family road trip to Japan when my grandpa was still alive, and my mom's side family just decided to take a road trip in Japan together. Even though my grandpa was in a wheelchair and there was a lot of planning involved, but we're gonna give him the best time because he loves Japan. But my grandpa is really stubborn and finicky. He'll say, oh yeah, let's go check out that one thing. And then we just have to all listen to him and go towards that destination. After 5 minutes, he'll be like, okay, I'm done with this destination. Let's go to the next destination. So he pulled another grandpa on this road trip. And that day we were driving along this creek. There are a lot of waterfalls, famous waterfalls along the creek. And there was a really nice hike, but we were missing all of it. We were missing out completely because grandpa didn't want to stop. We had several cars, and grandpa's car was leading the pack. And then my mom was like, no, we have to stop. We can't do this. We have to stop and see the waterfalls. So she disobeyed grandpa, which no one does. She stopped everyone and was like, we have to go check out this waterfall. If you don't check out this waterfall, 你这趟就白来了. And we did that. It was one of the bestest hikes that I've been on in my entire life, all thanks to my mother. That was a great day. Probably one of my happiest days of my life because of that hike. It was a great hike. And the waterfall was called Momo. It was 桃子瀑布. I don't know if that was the only time, if amongst the very few times that in my life that I truly felt it's so good to have this person as my mother. You know how crazy it is to travel with your relatives? It was a scene, but it was a great trip.
What was your relationship like with your mom?
It's a roller coaster. It was mixed. It was very mixed. And I think I am still struggling with grieving her because how crazy our relationship was. She'll say the nicest things, most validating things, but she can also say the meanest things. And I sometimes didn't feel safe being around her. It wasn't a safe environment emotionally for me. I just never knew what her reaction will be if I reached out for help or advice. I wouldn't know what I would get from her. Her reactions could be polarized depending on, her personal emotions and environment, whatever that was happening in her life. So I just didn't feel like sharing with her, life decisions or what I'm thinking about. And the truth was that she didn't share with me a lot of things, her health issues or her friends, where she was going. Honestly, I'm trying not to think about something I wished had happened because I feel it doesn't serve me. Otherwise I will regret not doing this. I would criticize the past me when in actuality there's nothing I can do about it. It already happened and it is what it is. I hate that sentence so much, but it happened. That's the way we treated each other. That's the way we decided to maintain the relationship. Is something bothering me right now? I need to make rent. That's bothering me. 我觉得长大之后就有点现实。 小时候觉得大人怎么那爱讲钱啊，可是越长大之后就是觉得说，不然能怎样？就你活着就是必须要赚钱，你才能活得下去不然你吃东西哪里来？你的 shelter 哪里来？你的 hot water 哪里来？ All the things to stay alive safely and comfortably, and it all costs money, and it's fucking annoying. 我到长得很大之后才开始真的会记账 budget 跟 sticking to the budget. 我觉得在一个尤其是同住的 relationship 里面，不讲钱很难因为以前都觉得讲钱伤感情，或你知道就是又是爸妈那边传下来的，就是你不要讲钱。所以你在跟别人同居，或者是你要一起出去玩，要怎么去开头讲这个，然后还有整个环境给的价值观，会觉得说男生是不是要赚多一点，要付多一点，就是外在环境你从小到大你接触到的、学习到的，父母给你的，学校给你的，还有时间上面的变迁，就是我觉得有很多不同的价值观在碰撞。因为从小长大就是会学到说女生在家里做家事，男生出去外面赚钱。可是后来你越长越大，就发现说有一些价值观是会去贬低没有出去工作的女性。然后就是你知道社会在转变，所以就会变成说就是她都生了小孩之后待在家里，就没有出去工作，老公养什么的。为什么这个是不好的？就是或者是女生赚太多，然后男生在家里当就是家庭主妇，人家说那是说他都靠老婆之类的。所以我觉得就会变成说两个人需要去摊开来谈这件事情。所以有时候就是我就会一直被夹在这几个价值观跟随之而来的罪恶感跟情绪。我就会觉得说，第一个我们在资本主义社会底下，如果你没有去赚钱，如果你没有对这个社会有贡献的话，你就是废物。就是你一定要 productive， 你不 productive 的话，你就是对社会无用的人。这第一个。第二个是年纪上面，妈的孔夫子都是他害的。他就是说30而立，40要不惑。我现在夹在中间，我没有而立，我也没有不惑，我就会觉得说我需要去把我自己用这个来 measure 我活了这么久，我应该到哪一个 milestone。第三个就是在女性上面，就是在性别的刻板印象上面，跟我现代新女性的价值观是不可以，你一定要就是有办法自主自理，经济独立，你一定要就是有一个很厉害的工作，或者是你要做自己让自己开心的事情，种种我觉得全部都就是搅在那边。所以就是我需要跟另外一个人去爬书，说我们要谈的有什么，所以就我们必须要做这件事情。Most of the time, I'm mad at myself. I am mad at myself because I know I could be doing more, but I am procrastinating on that. Like there's a force of resistance. Like I just don't want to take action. And inaction itself is a choice. It's an action. I just am choosing every day not to do more.That's why I'm mad at myself. Because I don't want to lose or fail or get negative feedback. If I put myself out there, if I try, there's a chance that I'm gonna fail. And I don't like failing. And instead, I choose not to do anything because it feels safer. But I'm mad at myself for not trying.
What does it take for you to forgive yourself?Practice. It takes practice. I don't know. How the fuck do you forgive yourself? I can't forgive myself. I've sinned. Like, this is my conversation with myself, like, on a daily basis. I fucked up. I
did shitty things. I am a shit person and I should have been doing this and I regret that. Like constantly just nonstop bombarding myself. And it takes practice to stop that, or at least to be aware of what I'm doing. And it takes practice and time. I'm working on it.
Relationship with self is tricky.
And it like does so much onto yourself because you speaking negatively to yourself all day, every day, constantly. Like that has a force, like it's bad energy towards yourself that you're generating. That's fucked up. That's self-destructive. 可我觉得就是非常 conflicting 的，就是说 identify 了之后，你就会想要去改变它，但是另外一面你又要去接受这个，你要怎么能够一边接受你有的这个东西，一边想要改变或者是 eliminate 这个东西，就会是我要去接受、去观察这件事情。但是我又怕，如果我只接受、只观察，而我不试图去改变，我就会变得太消极。所以我觉得就是一直都是在走一个就是 balance 的状态，就是你要去接受这件事情，可是你又不能太消极，让它一直发生，如果它一直在影响你 negatively。当然这些都是 self-inflicted， 就是我自己会去想说，我那个朋友在哪一个大公司工作，就是薪水怎么样，或是这个朋友就是他有车有房有小孩，就好像都是我没有的。可是就是我累了，就是我不想要一直告诉我自己说你没有的是什么，就是我就看我有了就好了嘛。As long as you're breathing, you're pooping well, you're sleeping okay, and you're exercising, keeping your body healthy, I think that is the metric that I'm gonna measure myself against. I'm just trying to be healthy here. 就是这另外一方面又是说，就是不想要太消极。但是我觉得如果我 focus 在我有的东西，我会比较高兴。